Hey, this is Sully for Anti-Social News Body Count Report for Wednesday, September the 13th, 2017, and we are going to start with a terrorist attack in Kabul. Just so you know, this is the Body Count Report. I take you around the world to show you news stories that the rest of the world might be ignoring just because they are so ugly or they are so obscure that involve human life. Either people fighting for or losing their lives, because the only real news out there involves the only real precious thing that we have, which is human life. So check out this article about the terrorism in Afghanistan. Sad story. Suicide bomber near Cricket Stadium in Kabul kills at least 3. There's a video accompanying it, so check the link in the description of this video. And we have to move right along to Jerusalem Post, where they are taking a heavy look at the conflict in Syria and the overall Middle East, asking what is coming next after Islamic State has been defeated, the day after defeat from the Islamic State caliphate to Hezbollahstan. Now, Hezbollahstan is just basically a way of saying the land controlled by Hezbollah, which they're pointing out that this area has gone from Sunni extremist control to Shia extremist control. So, not a huge step forward for human rights. It's kind of a bittersweet victory, you know. We see mankind get rid of one bad guy and another group which can or has been just as bad in the past steps right in. So moving along, 5 dead as Florida nursing home hit by Hurricane Irma. Now this is a convoluted story. And I realize that this is a story that the news is actually talking about, but some of them are sort of ignoring, like the headline of this ignores the actual reason why these people have died, which is the power is out. Lost electricity. You can see that in the story, not in the headline. Yes, the power was out because Irma, which killed more than 60 people through the Caribbean, which might be a bigger story than 5 people in the United States, but the United States gets all the focus, gets all the news. At least 23 people died in Florida and nearby states, and the destruction was widespread in the Keys. So what we're seeing here is a failure of infrastructure, specifically our electrical infrastructure in the United States, which that's something that's been under the EPA, and a lot of organizations haven't been able to expand their electrical grid or update their electrical grid due to regulations, specifically environmental regulations. And I just want to point out some of the irony that if we can talk to the power plant here, they might let us know that they've had to cut funding to advancements due to EPA pressure. And I just think that would be kind of interesting, because that's all to reduce our impact on the planet, our environmental impact on the planet. And instead of pointing out that if these people had more electricity or possibly nuclear power, which is widely looked at as a big scary monster of electrical production, but it may have kept these people alive, which the body count actually has gone up to 6 since I have recorded this. So, on this channel, I never want to debate global warming. I never want to deny it. All I want to point out is that infrastructure and technology is what saves us, humans, from all this stuff. Mudslides, flooding, hurricanes, our medical supplies failing due to lack of power. The only thing that saves us is technology and advancement and infrastructure. That's what saves us. Never cutting back on those things. So I'm for all measures to protect ourselves from disasters, as long as those measures involve boosting infrastructure or respecting infrastructure and technology, and not crippling it. Moving on. Myanmar's Suu Kyi to miss UN meeting amid criticism over Rohingya. Okay, so this is the situation in another follow-up on the situation in Myanmar. Myanmar's leader Aung San Suu Kyi has canceled plans to attend UN General Assembly as country draws international criticism over violence against ethnic Rohingya Muslims. Now, this is another Irish Times story, and we're seeing another non-explanation, only the accusation of ethnic cleansing. And I think she is contributing to that by canceling her appearance at the United Nations. So, asked if the situation could be described as ethnic cleansing, Mr. Gutierrez replied, "Well, I would answer your question with another question. When one third of the Rohingya population had to flee the country, could you find a better word to describe it?" Miss Suu Kyi, a Nobel Prize laureate who lived under house arrest for many years under a junta that ultimately gave way to an elected government, faces international criticism and pressure. On Tuesday, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini called the killing of Muslims a political disaster. Well, gosh, if Ayatollah Khamenei thinks you're bad, he is the moral authority. He is the moral authority that has let Evin prison be such a bastion of morality. And if you don't know what Evin prison is, it's a thing in Iran where women that are brought in there are raped and executed for ridiculous crimes that have nothing to do with what any reasonable country would consider the death penalty. And yes, Ayatollah Khamenei. So, yeah, okay, this just solidifies more my urge to hear the Myanmar side of things. When the Irish Times is quoting Ayatollah frickin' Khamenei on this, and if you don't know who he is, please check my Kamikaze Cowboy Sunday video where I explain the difference between Khamenei and Khomeini, okay? Wonderful. Moving on. Jiminy Christmas. Irish Times, Syrian ceasefire talks begin as ISIS loses territory. Now, that's really cool. This is a cool story. I like ceasefire. I like seeing ISIS lose. So we're seeing ceasefire talks got underway again in Kazakhstan. Delegations from Syrian government, armed insurgents, Russia, Iran, and Turkey gathered in Astana, Kazakhstan to discuss the consolidation of ceasefire zones across the country. Now, the only reason why this scares some people is because all those countries that I just listed there are kind of outside of the auspices of what we consider human rights, as I just mentioned in this story with Ayatollah Khamenei from Iran. And then, of course, Russia, whose crackdown on the LGBT community is nothing more than barbaric, and then you have Turkey, whose attacks on the native people, the Kurds, It could be argued to be similar to Myanmar's attacks on the native peoples of the Rohingya there. So when you see all these countries coming together and making decisions, it does catch some people off guard, but it is always good to see the end of military conflicts. So check this out, link in the description below. Learn more about these different conflicted groups and parties involved, Sunni Shia conflict. And now I'm very, very honored to be gifted with a message directly from somebody in Nigeria about the Biafra story. So I'm going to be showing some of the expository pictures of the Biafra, so people can know a little bit about them or learn of them. I'm normally, when I talk to Johnson, we're just talking about our personal lives. So and he just found out that I've been doing this news show, so he's been contributing now with articles and links. So Biafra celebrates the election of Donald Trump. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read what he has prepared for us today. Anti-Social News exclusive report from contributor Johnson. Johnson Mbadiwe, reporting for Biafra Writers, September 13th, 2017. Information from our intelligence report has it that top Nigerian army officials and some Hausa cabals are right now in an emergency meeting with all GSM network service providers in a bid to shut down GSM network in Biafra land, so that Biafrans will no longer have access to communications anymore. The Nigerian government under dictator Muhammadu Buhari is about to repeat the media blockage they used against Biafra during 1967 through 1970, genocide as a weapon of war. We hereby alerting the UN, EU, AU, Israel, and the international community to wade into Biafran matter and save Biafrans from another genocide. And he has provided hashtags to be used in this conflict. The hashtag Free Biafra, hashtag referendum, and hashtag Biafrexit. Take on Brexit there. So check that link out in the description of this video, and I'm very proud to have him as a friend, and I'm very interested for following the story in the future. Nigerian news is doing a good job of covering all sides of it, even giving the military side, where they're saying that the military was just trying to pass through and the Biafrans confronted them. Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB, which is the indigenous peoples of Biafra, or IPOB for short. And yes, here it is. His scepter is very interesting. That's the Biafran flag there, and they appear to be supporters of Israel. So, I'm very interested to learn more about the Biafran people. It might be similar to Kurdistan and their situation with Turkey. Want to thank Johnson once again for contributing. Thank you for your article. It was incredibly well written, and I hope people will take note of this issue. And normally I put my title card up there, but instead I'm going to leave the Biafran flag up there instead. So to draw curiosity to this issue. And with that, I'm ending the episode. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. And we are almost to 10,000 views. Very excited. I'm going to be covering an event this weekend. Some craziness here in Washington, D.C. So please share the videos. Please like. And if you have yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Thank you so very much. And have a great rest of your day.